Welcome to the show. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've talked to you guys, done a show or two. The last two shows I did was from graduation. I wasn't gonna do a follow-up, like I told you guys. I wasn't gonna do a follow-up on that day, but my cameraman didn't respond. So we'll have that for you probably next week or if I schedule in. Let's always start with we always do. Latest of the COVID-19. This is from yesterday. No new cases travel-related, person-to-person contact, no new cases, 29 under investigation, 118 total, 64 total, 180, 58, 420. Now under surveillance in Nueces County, no new cases, no new deaths, confirmed cases, testing entry, 57 new tests, hospitals 83, total tests 140, 5523 total, 7409, trial needs for testing, that's it. Always remember, make sure to wear a mask. Wear a mask, stand 6 feet apart from each other, and always make sure to stay safe. Now, if you plan on traveling this weekend to Florida, one story that really bothered me was all airlines mandating masks. Is that really going to be possible? Well, the airlines want to talk to Congress and making a law about it. But we don't know what's going to happen. Is this law going to happen? What's it going to do? Well, this law that they're going to propose is going to mandate everyone wearing a mask. Everyone wearing a mask at the airplane. If they refuse, the flight attendants will ban them from flying. So that's basically the whole case of this. But still, one person said that he had a medical condition which he can't provide a mask. This was on Good Morning America today. And what had happened was, he said he doesn't have to wear a mask because he had a medical condition. He said, and the flight attendant said, "Where's the proof?" Like all of his video recording in that video, which in that video recording, he actually said that. He actually said. I mean, he said the same thing when he got on the next plane, he told him the same thing. And yet the airlines say they don't have to provide him proof. I mean, he says he has a medical condition, then he has a medical condition. But that still doesn't mean though you can just go willy-nilly go fly on an airplane. No, you have to provide with the proof. It's the same thing. If you're going to apply for a job and you have Tourette syndrome, you need to provide your boss with medical information. Same thing if you're on the autism spectrum. You provide your boss with medical proof. If not, no one's going to know what's going to happen. Now the latest on George Floyd, I mean, all the officers are guilty and fired. Now this is the other latest thing that we're going to talk about. Another police brutality. This one was from another African American. Like I said on my show, I don't tolerate racism. I mean, first we had Rodney King, then we have George Floyd, and now this. So what is going to be the big deal with this is who beat up the officer? This happened in Atlanta. This officer shot Rayshad Brooks. Look, this was happening in Wendy's. He was drunk and then he ran and then he got shot.
wrestled away across his taser and ran. Wolf chased him, first running into Wendy's parking lot, fired the taser wildly. Video shows Wolf firing 3 gunshots.
Just like that. And yet, the police need to be trained on how to handle this. We don't need to bring racism back into this. I mean, we have people already shooting police. We have people, first we had Rodney King, now we have this, now we have that. What we need to do is not do this again. We need better training. We need to make sure that none of this happens again. And yet people are kneeling down on one knee. This is not the NFL, yet people are on the knee. I say take a knee in my ass from Mr. Neil McCoy. If I see someone on TV taking a knee, and yet people are always taking knees after. After having people were sitting on their knees. I mean, this is not the NFL. So, we don't need this happening anymore. Knock it off. I don't need to see someone taking a stand on bending knees during the national anthem. Let's take a break. Later on, this video that happened from a channel who had a profane word on his shirt, walking around a public park with kids. I'll give you my thoughts about that. But next, we're going to look at more about kids who are being suspended for some reasons. Next, we'll look at some people who did not stand during a pledge and who decided to take a knee. This all happened after some people were suspended for this. And then a lot later on, Parker Pool is reopening and the free swim is happening. How is it happening? We'll tell you about what's going to happen next on Wednesday. Just give me a break a bit later on, and I'll have our next report coming up. We're back now with some developing stories, even the ones with the black-on-black violence. Now, what we've seen so far is what happened to George Floyd when the officer put his knee on Mr. Floyd and he couldn't breathe, so he died. And 2 years before this, people were taking knees because they saw it in the Super Bowl. And this is what happened. I want to let you know this morning, when it was time to do the Pledge of Allegiance, let's call this student Randy, went down on one knee. I knew where he had seen it, but I did tell him in the classroom we're learning what it means to be a good citizen, and we're learning about respecting the United States of America and our county symbols, country symbols, and showing loyalty, patriotism. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm on a mission to make a change.
But she told him right away, based on what he told me, to stand up and to stop it. That's not her right. That is not her right.
She's upset the teacher scolded her 6-year-old instead of using it as a teaching tool about different types of patriotism.
He had seen it on TV, and it's understandable that he didn't have the full context. Like, we're not here at home telling him when you go to school you need to take a knee.
But the Pasco County School District says there won't be an apology apology.
We certainly would not want to infringe on anyone's rights, but we have to follow state law.
But today, a professor at Tampa's Cooley Law School says that Florida statute is not punishable, and the student should have been allowed to kneel.
Students have free speech as long as what they do is not disruptive of the class activity and/or interferes with the educational process. The student kneeling during the Pledge of Allegiance did not do either of those things.
Jeff Swartz adds that Wiregrass Elementary teacher was likely more disruptive than the student, who he believes was wrongly reprimanded.
I see what the teacher did in singling out the student and ridiculing the student in front of the other students to be a form of punishment for an exercise of free speech.
This right to free speech by students extends beyond the classroom to the playing field. If a student athlete wants to kneel during the national anthem, they can't be legally punished for doing so, says Swartz, even if the district has a rule against it. I'm Adam Weiner for ABC Action News.
Adam, thank you. And Pasco's school district has responded to our reporting, acknowledging there are not written consequences for kneeling during the Pledge of Allegiance, but they do ask parents provide a written note in advance.
First of all, yes, that's right. First of all, yes, that's right. You have to provide a written note. Second, yes, all students have rights. If you walk into the school door, your rights are not taken away. But if you use free speech, as long as the free speech is not disrupting the learning environment, if you take a stand on one knee because of all this, you still have to have a written note. There is no reason for you to stand on one knee, not have a note, and then get away with it. This is not the NFL. So again, if you're going to stand on one knee, you at least have to have a note a written note from the school to say that, okay, you're going to be standing on one knee because of this. Now, what went on to something direct in school, this is what happened a year ago. Parents and students have filed a First Amendment lawsuit against the school, Victory Prep, a charter school.
Covering Colorado First at 5, and students and parents.
What had happened was, these people were suspended from school for making comments on Facebook about the principal. Was this a case of the school violating free speech? Listen.
The Commerce City Charter School believed the school violated their First Amendment rights, and now they're banding together. They're actually filing a lawsuit against the school.
Yeah, that lawsuit also targets the principal. Investigator Brian Moss breaking the story for us all tonight. And Brian joins us to explain what's going on. Brian.
Well, in this lawsuit that was just filed in the last couple of hours, the students say they were disciplined for even making comments about the principal on Facebook.
This happened in October 2017.
Police were called to Victory Prep Charter School 14 months ago.
If you don't leave, he's going to press charges.
After a student protest against school administrators snowballed, and all 120 students were suspended for the rest of the day. They had refused to repeat the school's daily pledge that morning and submitted a list of grievances. So the school sent everyone home.
Well, at that time, we started recording verbally and started recording video.
But Joel and Mary Flores, who have a student at the school, say it got even worse when they came to pick up their son. They own this Spanish-language newspaper, so documented what happened. 2 days after the protest, they published this front-page article.
They didn't like the reporting. No, they didn't, because it brought bad press to them.
Days after that newspaper story, the school dropped this letter up.
This is from the school, which said, Mary and Joel Flores, on September 28, 2017, school surveillance reported that in the process of our students being released home and families, you chose to detain, film, and photograph Victory Prep Academy students without school or parent permission. This activity is not only illegal, it's a violation of school policy and your family's agreement regarding the conduct on school grounds. Your actions created an unsafe situation that required police intervention. You also initially chose to create a false narrative with students, the public and the media regarding VPA student activities and school administration decisions. Although school administration were nearly 10 feet away, you may be able to clarify any aspect of the activities and actions of school letters you know or have you to date. Your actions 228 perpetuate, I can't pronounce that word, which is false and manipulative regarding the county's review of public legal counsel and law enforcement. Until the review is complete and processed, you are not permitted on school properties at any time. Your only organized crime during this period will be numerous storm. There's also a reminder that campuses are private property with legal rights and authority. Failure to comply will be law enforcement repression.
The Flores family, saying they have detained students without permission for interviews and created a, quote, false narrative, broken school rules through their reporting efforts. They were and still are banned from campus.
We missed all the parent-teacher conferences. We missed all the soccer games that are home field.
In this new federal lawsuit against the school, parents and students contend other students were suspended for going on Facebook and making derogatory comments about the principal. The lawsuit maintains other students who simply liked those comments were then suspended.
This school has trampled on the constitutional rights of not only the students at the school, but their parents, and frankly the entire community.
Matt Crone represents the Flores family and filed the First Amendment lawsuit.
Kids have constitutional rights in our school system. They don't abandon those rights when they walk through the school doors in the morning.
Joel Flores spent 5 years in the military and says he defended the Constitution and First Amendment freedoms.
As a veteran, that's what I served for.
We repeatedly called Victory Prep CEO and principal, and he did not return any of our calls. We will keep trying.
All right, thank you, Brian.
You bet.
Tim, where are you, Brett? Okay, so like I said before, if you enter the school building, your rights are not taken away. You still have the rights. But there are limits to free speech that it doesn't become distracting to the educational environment. And there's a reason why there's dress code involved. I mean, you might even say, well, it's the U.S., we're supposed to be independent, it's a free country. If you want to express yourself, you express yourself in your own time. There are reasons why we have dress codes involved that has become a distraction, and yet many people have violated that dress code. I'm not even going to go into that. We'll probably do that in another episode. But what needs to happen here is that there are people out there whose lives are at stake. I mean, people want to go to school and learn, but then when something like this happens, people have to realize what's going on. I mean, those two decided to record without school permission, and decided to. And what they also did was decide to say to detain students without permission. If they had permission from the school, this never would have happened. They never would have said, "Oh, I give you permission to do this. I'll give you permission to do this and that." Then we would have been in the situation, and this would have been an episode. Now another case. This student was punished for exercising his First Amendment rights. It was because of a video that happened. This student went to Vero Beach High School, and this student decided for president that he.
Yes, and I went up on the podium and I gave my speech.
Listen.
I am all for freedom, equality, and liberty. She will expand the government so you will not be able to do anything. She will likely create a dress code for you. She represents Sebastian River High School. What I propose is that we build a wall between here and Sebastian River, and we make Sebastian River pay for it.
I'm JP Cross, I'm a student at Blue Beach High School. In my campaign speech, I just basically joked around and played off of the political rhetoric of the past election. The Monday following the election, I got a call from the high school principal.
They were going to disqualify him from the election, and they were going to give him a detention.
And they put it on his discipline record permanently that he had harassed another classmate. Of course, he had not harassed another classmate. He was simply having a little fun and giving a good campaign
speech. As soon as I was called and told that I was disqualified, I felt there was a clear violation of my First Amendment rights.
Looking at it more from a mom perspective.
So basically what happened was the video showed him expressing his free speech, yada yada yada, case closed. Alright. We're gonna have more into, okay. We have much more still ahead. We're gonna have one, we're gonna look at the CCISD calendar to see if it matches up with the FBISD's calendar. I might talk to Dr. Freedom on that one. Next, this one got my attention a couple of days ago. This channel called Hate the State. What this person did was unacceptable for my taste. And he was out there expressing his freedom of speech with kids in the damn park. We'll have that report when we return. Welcome back. We're still on the ropes of this free speech thing. I mean, yes, the First Amendment says you have the right to free speech. Also, I mean, this is what happened a year ago in Florida, but this happened back last May. This person decided to go around a park with a sign that says F the county. With children in the park. Give me a break. With little children. If I did that, I'd be thrown out of the park with handcuffs. I'll tell you something, if I ever did that, I'd be thrown out of the park with handcuffs. With a bunch of handcuffs tied around my wrist. And toilet tissue in my mouth. And duct tape all over the shirts that people don't have to read it. 10 minutes into the video, this lady in purple called the police. And yet, minutes later, the police showed up and they said, well, it's his right. If he has the right to film, he has the right to wear that sign. And then the person that recorded said, am I a pedophile? He said, no, you're not. And he still went on recording. Many people didn't like that. Children were offended. Probably most of the county was offended. If they watched the video, probably the whole county was offended by watching this video last year. And yet, you can't have that anymore. He had another one like this too. It said, you must be mentally ill to hold a sign, I'm offended. He said F the county. If I did that, if I did that, said F the county, I'd be sitting in jail. Again, if I saw that happening, you know what I'd be doing? I'd be sitting in jail for 5 days, no probation, handcuffs, and toilet tissue, and fucking toilet tissue in my mouth like this. And then after that video, the whole county was like upset by that sign with kids involved. In a little kid's park. If I had a Parker Pool, the Parker Pool management would be like, we can't have that sign. I mean, if he's out there expressing free speech, that's fine. But this was the case. This was also a case. What he had done was unacceptable. He should not have been punished. He should have been punished. He should have been arrested and sent to jail. All right, when we come back here, the CCISD school calendar, is it going to match up with the Flagbuff ISD's calendar? Stay tuned. Welcome back, you guys. Starting in August, school's going to be starting in August. School's going to be open. This might be a good time for you for a recap. Early March, schools begin to extend spring break. Governor Greg Abbott orders to shut down schools, dining restaurants, and restaurant dining areas and bars. In April, schools will be closed for the rest of the academic year. And then, weeks ago, schools reopened for summer school. Now,
Abbott ordered the closing of school.
there is a plan for a calendar that's going to be happening.
Be learning 11 out of the 12 months. Now, when it comes to picking the calendar, there were 4 options, and a majority of trustees were in favor.
This was the option for the first semester, August 13th to 14th. The second semester is January 25th to June 3rd.
Of option number 4, there was only one. Is how the students will be taught, whether distance learning will be a part of that lesson plan. That's the very latest here, live from CCISD.
That is still very last. I mean, is this going to happen with, is this still going to happen?
News in the education being tonight. Teachers and administrators in the CCISD got and room.
But my question is this really going to happen? Is this calendar going to be the same for Flower Bluff? I'm not sure. I'm going to have to email Dr. David Freeman on this one and give the very latest as we go forward with this plan. We'll be right back. Guys, listen, before we go, we're going to have a special announcement coming. Starting on Monday next week, we're going to have a very special co-anchor. His name is Ray Stevens. He's going to be sitting next to me throughout the entire time doing the show with me. A lot of topics. I hope you'll like him. His name is Ray Stevens. Again, I'm sure you guys will get to know him, have a great time. We'll have a great time together, talk a lot, and then we'll see what happens. That's all for Decision Game Break Thursday. We're off on Friday, so we'll see you again for Game Break Monday. For all of us here at YouTube, have a good night.